Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And I wanted to do a new Wasteland Discussion segment on the show, and I've been really feeling about talking about physical media. And there's one person that I wanted to talk to physical media about, and that is my friend, frequent collaborator, and physical media guru. It is Adam Ritchie. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. Guru is maybe stretching it a little bit, maybe Die Hard. I don't know.
Now, I have a penchant for coming up with hyperbolic names for my friends. Um which is why I keep calling Mike our fearless leader at SPDM Crew, and he kind of just like accepted it after a while.
Yeah, well, he is though. He is. He deserves that
He
title.
technically is. He is
Yeah.
the leader of this crew. So, I just wanted to put that Rocky and Bullwinkle spin on it. Um Fearless leader. That's a movie I have not watched in a long time.
I
Um,
remember watching that when it came out, and it was pretty bad even for me back then.
I was a like kid when that came out, and I loved that movie. Owned it on VHS. Have not watched it as an adult, but you know, I just recall because it was Jason Alexander, Rene Russo, and Robert De Niro all playing like the evildoers, and I just
Um,
recall them being like fully committed to the bit for
it's
sure.
got it's got the Kristen. She's from Third Rock from the Sun. She
Oh, it's
plays a
her.
bad guy in that too.
Hmm.
Natasha, does she play Natasha?
I do distinctly
Kristen,
remember Jason Alexander, and obviously Robert De Niro as fearless leader was quite a choice. Um, in that movie. But
yeah.
anyway, we're here to talk about some physical media, and I figured we could just open this discussion in the general thought of like physical media has
Mm.
evolved a lot in the past 5, 10 years for sure, and even over the
Yeah.
past couple of years, as one of my now least favorite stores, Best Buy, throwing up a giant middle finger to all of us and stop selling physical media. Um, and then Walmart being like, we're going to expand our physical media. And yet, every time I've been in a Walmart, the section has gotten smaller and smaller. You're full of crap, Walmart.
Is that right?
Um,
That's interesting to know.
at least in this area. But
Mm.
I guess, Adam, what are your general thoughts on what you think the future for physical media is looking like?
Um, Look, I think there's two directions. I'm hopeful for it because, well, especially in this country, because there is, look, it might be because I'm so involved in the subculture of it, the underbelly of physical media anyway, that it seems more prominent. But there's a few companies have come out and reported increasing sales a little bit, like, you know, 4 to 5% here and there. But it does feel like it's heading down a more of a niche market.
Mm,
I can see, and look, I do have a good friend on the inside who works in the business, and he, I know a bit more information about the hows and whys in some points, especially from the bigger studios. But there seems to be a lot of testing out there of the market, especially the way catalog items are released.
mm,
Roadshow are doing a lot of steelbook only for old catalog releases, and they'll release a standard 12 months later. So the future of it is going to depend a lot on the current market and where it settles and what people actually buy. But again, s- slightly sidetracking, a lot depends on the film as well, because there's a lot of
mm.
films that don't sell the way they do. So it is a massive gamble for the physical media
Yeah.
distributors. So it's really hard for them to tell who wants what and when they want it, type of thing. There's a good example of Terminator. I mean, a lot of what I'm going to talk about is probably stems a lot from my Australian experience, which is obviously different from the
Yeah.
US and the UK, because you guys are very spoiled in what you get to choose from, especially in brick and mortar stores.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, I know in Australia there's a lot of that experimenting going on. As you know, Disney pulled out of here in 2023. I think it was
mhm.
23. I mean, the doors are ajar. There's never there's never a no button on whether they come back or not, especially that they're still growing and releasing a lot of back catalogs in the US and the UK. Um, but I think overall, from a global perspective, I think it's probably the future of it's probably very similar, I think, to the way it is now. A lot more boutique labels, definitely because that's what is selling at the moment. There's
Yeah.
a lot of value added packaging, steelbooks, slip covers, lenticular like 3D boxes, art cards, lobby cards, booklets, and essays and that type of thing. We're getting more into that collector market, is where it's moving in because I mean, there's a higher markup for the distributors.
Mhm.
They get a bit more of a profit that way. They add a 50-cent art card and they charge an extra $20 or something for their item. That's the perception. I don't know how true that is. I mean, it's not totally untrue though, I don't think. Yeah, I think where we see it now, I think we're at maybe 20% of the way there of where it's going to be. There's going to be probably standard releases all the time for current movies. But as for the catalog stuff, it's definitely going down the collector market because that's really who the majority, there's no casual buyers anymore, really, of
Mm.
physical media. It is collectors and people who've always collected. So they're just chasing the dollar as any smart business does.
And I think it's very interesting because, yes, one, I do think that it's heading towards a lot more boutique and niche market for physical media for now.
Mm,
I honestly think that physical media is going to come back a little bit more because
yeah, me too.
streaming is just getting so frustrating. Because, like,
Hmm.
things like I'm not your average movie watcher by
No,
any measure, for sure.
no.
And like I watch an obscene amount of movies compared to even people that I know that are like way
Yeah.
more into film than most people. But
Mm,
when I look up a movie off of my watch list and it's literally on none of the like 12 streaming services that I pay for, which I literally do pay for like 12 streaming services, and then
wow.
I have to rent it on Amazon, which
That's
I
not on.
swear I am probably at least in the top 10% of customers for Amazon Prime Video rentals
Oh,
out of
really?
people because that's the thing.
That's weird though, considering how much you watch all your physical and all your streamers. So that's bullshit. And
And
I
that's exactly
agree
the
that,
point. Like,
yeah. Uh,
and
even apart from that, there's also, and sorry to interrupt, but there's also commercials. The prices are going through the roof, and there's too many to keep up with. So
yeah.
people don't normally buy month to month. They don't go and cancel. They just kind of keep a thing going because it's easier to do it that way. I'd rather pay
Mm.
$20 a month than cancel it and get it back when they actually want it. Um, and that's what they kind of rely on, those people who aren't paying attention as well.
Well, and as somebody who does a podcast on streaming recommendations for older films, because like
Mm,
my
hard to
streaming
do.
Wasteland show is not meant to recommend movie that just came out.
Yeah,
Like it,
yeah.
I don't have a hard set rule, but like I try to look for films that are at least 10 years old to recommend. And like looking at Netflix, their catalog of older
Netflix
films
won't have
sucks.
anything. Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but they want more of you to watch just all of their endless schlock of Netflix content. And like the easiest best one if you want to go back and watch older movies is HBO Max,
HBO. Yep.
which is now HBO
Yeah.
Max again officially.
Yeah. As
Um
of, yeah, 2 days ago.
like that's endless. Or also like I pay for Criterion Channel. So like
Mm,
Criterion Channel is just endless amount of
yeah.
content. And like that's a very niche kind of streaming service. Like I just it's so frustrating. And one, there's going to be a bunch of streaming services that go under or get absorbed.
Oh,
It's
that
just
has
going to
to.
happen.
That has to. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
It happens.
I want to know why MGM Plus exists.
When
If
Amazon already
Amazon
owned it.
owns if Amazon owns MGM, why isn't all that just on Prime?
Because
So
Bezos just had an obscene wedding. That's why he's got to pay for it somehow. Like,
it's just so ridiculous. And
I
streaming is so frustrating that I think it'll drive people back to,
yeah,
like, if you really like a
yeah.
movie, you buy it.
Well, what it's also doing though is it's also driving people back to torrents. I mean, I've seen quite well a few more than enough
It's a
posts and
pirate life
threads
for
on
me.
on different threads where people are like, yeah, I'm going back to pirating. Like, because they never bought physical in the first place. So they don't want to be paying. I mean, in Australia, the top tier of Netflix is 27 a month. Disney's 20 odd. Amazon's depends on you. There's different things. Now we've got HBO Max. We've got another one called Binge, and then there's Stan, and
Yeah.
there's Apple. We don't have Criterion. We don't have a classic channel, which sucks. I'd love to have Criterion here.
Mhm.
It'd be amazing. But I signed up to HBO Max purely because they have TCM on there.
Yeah.
Um, I think streaming services are going to find their own market of what type of content they have. Like Disney have Disney, the Nostalgia Fest, and some new.
Yes.
They have their own IPs. Netflix, I think, really caters for really casual viewers of anything. Like
Well,
it's
very casual, as in, like,
yeah,
you're not sitting and watching, you're doing other shit while you're watching.
yeah. Well, exactly. And it's also people who they only watch YouTube or only watch Netflix. That's all they have. That's
Yes.
they don't care too much. They just want to flick something on. And Netflix has so much content. And like I said, they don't have anything older on there. In fact, when they actually launched in Australia, like 2012, I think, it did launch with some older stuff. Like, I had classic movies. It was a really small catalog. And it had a lot of Hitchcock and stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck have they got all this old stuff on here for? I don't want to watch this. And now that's all I really want to watch. Like
Yeah.
that's funny in that respect. But yeah, Netflix is it's reality shows. It's really lowest. I don't want to say it this way, but that's the only way I can think. It's lowest common denominator when it comes
Yeah.
to watching, I
Well,
guess.
that's literally what they're doing. Like, that is their
Mm,
plan. So, like,
yeah.
and they make it known that they're
And
not
then they had the cheek
gearing
to say
this.
they're saving cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
like, they'll occasionally have, like, a prestige film come out on Netflix and stuff like that. And then it's just like,
When
it
they're
makes
award
me mad
hunting.
that I can't own this unless,
Yes.
Criterion
Yeah.
releases it. But we'll get to that in a minute. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like physical media is going to come back around a bit more, at least, because I think this whole streaming model's failing as a business model. And I
Yeah.
think it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
who the hell's running all of this? And here's the thing, the only one that is, like, extremely successful is Netflix.
I
And
know,
it's
and that's
because
it's sad.
they found the market for streaming.
Yeah, because I listened to a lot of Kevin Smith stuff and a lot of his
Mm,
podcast interviews and whatnot, and he was talking. It wasn't even an interview; it was just because it was one of his it was his podcast Hollywood Babylon, where he's just in a conversation with his
yeah.
mate, basically, in front of a crowd. Like it's a comedy show. But anyway, he talks about some inside stuff sometimes, and he had a meeting with Netflix. And they basically said to him, like the execs there, and this was quite a while ago, those execs probably aren't there anymore, but they said, we aren't a film company or a TV company. We're a tech company. We keep stats, and that's how they everything is based on their algorithm,
Yep.
and that's why they have ruined everything we watch now. That's why I don't have Netflix until I have something I want to watch, which isn't often anymore. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I got a little sidetracked there. I'll do that.
But, like, honestly, I watch Netflix for new stuff because I try to watch as much new stuff as possible. And I'm also binge watching How I Met Your Mother. But, like, basically outside
Same.
of
So
that,
weird.
like,
Mm,
basically that's it. And, like, I I'm staunchly against pirating and stuff like that because
hmm
you have to support this, because if not, then they're not gonna make movies. But if I pay for 12 streaming services and I regularly rent on Amazon and I
mm,
still can't, or even on YouTube, because honestly, there's a
mm.
lot of free use movies on YouTube because
There are,
they're
yeah.
so old that they're just on there.
Mm,
If
hmm
I can't find a movie on any of them in the year 2025, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah,
we
it's
have so much technology that we could make every film accessible that's still in existence, because obviously there's a lot of lost films from like early cinema, but like
Yeah.
there's no reason why a film isn't available in one of those means. So then, I have
Um,
to use one particular website that
there
I'll
are
end up
there
using
are
and
some films that because there's a lot of licensing issues with films, especially in the physical format. Like it's such a drama, like it's such a big hoo-ha. Like there can be a company in Australia that will have rights to a certain movie, but only in a certain format.
Mhm.
So one company will have it in Australia, and those licenses last for 10 years. And that's why sometimes you'll see reprints because the reprints are because if they have the license to it and they have to reuse it within 10 years. So they have to go, well, this film still makes us a lot of money. We have to do something. And they just release it on a
Yeah.
cheap Blu-ray or something to keep them in the loop. But when films don't make it or you don't see them, it's generally because of they don't know. And I've heard this from people in the know is that they don't even know who owns it. Like there's disputes around certain parts of estates and that's why there's a lot of films that we go, why can't I get that on physical anymore? Because the last time you saw it was on DVD, like was released on DVD, maybe from the 80s. It's because, well, those rights have passed, or someone has passed
Mm.
who owned the rights, and then it's in dispute with the family, or it's in dispute with the studio, and blah, or producers even. Like it's a real dog's breakfast.
It's one of those kinds of things where I'm just like, I live in the year 2025. There's certain
Mm.
things that shouldn't be an issue at this point. And like in my head, this shouldn't be an issue anymore.
I
Like,
agree, but maybe we have to wait till 2030. I don't know.
I don't know. But
It's weird.
uh segueing into talking about like actual physical media, because like obviously we're getting to the point where the vast majority of people buy physical media just straight from like the studios releasing their movies because it's part of the pipeline. Because,
Hmm.
there used to be a very specific pipeline of you go into movie theaters, you're
Yep.
in movie theaters for 6+ months, and
Hmm.
then like 9 months later, you'll wind up getting like a physical media release. And that has completely changed at this point because now like it's truncated to, hey, look, this
Oh,
movie was
it's
in theaters for
shocking.
17 days and now it's on
Yeah.
VOD and stuff like that. And you'll get physical media like 3 months after release of something. But I guess, Adam, what are the main brands that you go to that are like your physical media brands that you love?
Um, I kind of want to touch on what you just said,
Okay.
but I can't remember the point I was going to make. But I'll go on to what I was talking because it'll come back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, look. I generally just want the movie, so I'm not a diehard for a particular distributor or
Hmm.
particular label. Although I do have my favorites, but I don't buy everything that they release because
Yeah.
they release stuff I don't want, or there's a monetary factor involved. But my favorites are probably not probably Kino, Lorber, and
Yeah.
Arrow. Um, Kino for the fact their transfers, like, well, from a 4K perspective, because their Blu-rays won't play in Australia, but from a 4K perspective, the quality of their transfers are fantastic.
Hmm.
Arrow the same, but it's also the catalog they release. They kind of seem to know a market, and if you look, they actually release quite a lot of Universal back catalog titles as well, which I don't understand why Universal. I guess Universal don't want to take the risk on those lesser titles that they don't
Hmm.
think have a market or as big a market. So, and then again, Arrow. As much as I hate the markup, the value added stuff with the art cards and whatnot, they do release some beautiful sets. And actually, in saying that, there's another British company called Second Sight, which I've just got my first delivery of. I got the Nice Guys, their big
Hmm.
fat box set of
Nice.
that, and that's stunning, like absolutely beautiful. So they are probably going to become a favorite too at some point.
Yeah, I will buy what like for the longest time it was always what's cheapest for me
Hmm.
because like the vast majority of this movie buying that I did was when I was in college and like
Hmm.
shortly after college. So like I've bought so many of these movies were used. I bought them at
Yeah.
Princeton Record Exchange, which was is the largest record store on the East Coast of the United States, and I went to school literally 15 minutes down the road from it.
Oh,
And
nice. I'd never
like
leave the place.
I well, I've spent a lot of money at this place. Most of these movies I've bought for $5 or less used,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are DVDs and stuff like that. And now I only buy DVDs if it's the only option, and I'd
Yes.
much rather get
Mm.
Blu-rays. And honestly, if the 4Ks are reasonable, I'm also cheap, so unless I really, really want something now,
Mm.
I'm gonna wait until it's $10 or less. Or boutique
Wow.
labels that you're not gonna get them for $10 or less. Like, you know, I'm not insane. I only buy Criterion when they're on sale.
Yeah.
You know, like they do their
Same. Same.
sales. Like I'm not going to be spending $40 on this when I could just wait a couple months and pay 20. So, but like the
Mm.
actual labels and
I've,
stuff, I buy a
I
lot
want to
of
bitch you
Criterion.
about pricing.
Uh,
Like a $40 here in Australia for a Criterion is on sale. That is a sale.
well,
I've
I
actually just
know,
brought a few in from the
and
Prime
exchange
Day.
rates and stuff
Yeah.
like that are different too.
Yeah, yeah, no, it sucks. It still sucks. I don't understand. Criterion would sell like hotcakes down here if they could get licensing, but they just
Well,
won't.
and Criterion's the one that I go to most because like it's like the boutique physical media,
Yeah,
especially
they're
here in
the
the
OG
United States.
boutique.
And
Yeah,
like I don't 100% understand the standards for which they choose their films. Because, early on, like, there's an Armageddon criterion. Like,
it's DVD, right? Yeah.
yeah, like
Well,
Armageddon.
isn't their ethos like culturally important films from across the globe? Isn't that basically what they're
Well,
built on?
it is. And, they've
I
also
don't know how
become,
Armageddon fits that, but
I listen to a podcast now, and it's two friends, and I enjoy listening to their conversations because their conversations are very fruitful and interesting. I don't 100% agree with them all the time, especially one of them has a very particular taste in movies, which I don't have. Very different taste in movies, but it's very interesting because like they'll talk about like what's coming out and realizing that like basically Neon's distribution of physical media is just Criterion.
just
So like
copying you.
basically like if they have a big movie that comes out, it's coming out on Criterion because that's how it is. Like I have my Anora
Yeah.
um up here
Mm.
and Neon and Netflix. Like if one of like I own The Irishman, I own Marriage Story. They came out on Criterion.
Hmm.
And for me, why I really like Criterion is because like I can get movies like that. They're very nice quality. And I don't care that much about all the bells and whistles of like
Nah, me either.
booklets and all this kind of stuff. Like there's some of them like I think are really cool. Like this isn't a Criterion, but like a really cool box set of Ben-Hur that has
Oh,
the 59 film and also the 20s silent
really?
film. And it has like a big booklet of like pictures and commentary and stuff like that. Stuff like that. That's pretty like that was pretty cool. That was one of my first like collectors things that I ever bought
Yeah,
in
cool.
terms of physical media. Like for me, I really love when they put older films of the filmmaker. I love when they put short films from the filmmaker on there. Like that kind of stuff. If I get bonus movies, that makes me happy. Like
Yeah.
I have my
Bonus anything. It's
stagecoach.
good.
Yeah, like I have my stagecoach criterion. It has one or two old John Ford films on it. There's some physical media like I specifically bought from Criterion because it has some of those like other films on it. And, like even just like randomly Punch Drunk Love has like an experimental short film version of it
That's
that
it.
Paul Thomas Anderson made too. And I
Okay.
also realized, and I think I need to broaden my horizons, is I'm really into Kino Lorber now too because they do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just for some reason the marketing team at Criterion that has made this like this is essential cinema here in the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Kino hasn't done that. And but the thing is they offer like the same value. Like
Pinot are
maybe like
cheap.
the packaging and stuff like that is it like as like the Criterion cover and stuff like that winds up being just as like alluring to people as like the movies themselves. But like Kino
Mm.
Lorber, like I've bought movies that have like a movie or two extra from that filmmaker on. Like I have one of Kubrick's earliest films, and it has one of his other early short films on it, and I'm like, that's really
Yeah.
cool. I love that. Um, so like I want to expand into looking at more Kino Lorber releases because like I work with them a lot because I have press contacts there, and anytime they
Ah,
release a new film, I'm all on that, try to get screening links
yeah.
for it. And I'm like, I need to just look more into their catalog in terms of physical media because I feel like if more physical media collectors or just people who want to own movies paid more attention to that, they would love Kino Lorber just as much as they love Criterion.
I agree. Kino are great, but I like Kino because of everything you just said. But they don't do the extra stuff. They do bare bones releases. They'll give you a slip
Mm.
cover, which is cool. A lot of people love slip covers, but they'll just give you the movie. And I know in the US, they're really well priced, and quite often they have a
Yes.
lot of sales. So they have their 50% off sale. So you get 4Ks for 17 US dollars. Like
Yeah.
and I actually emailed them once because they don't ship to Australia, and I was dirty, and I was like, ship to Australia. And like, no. So when they do release them, there are parallel importers like online
Mm.
stores in Australia that
Interesting.
get them, and they'll cost 55 to 60 AUD to get them because so they'll ship to Australia, but just not single movies, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's really a bother.
And that sucks. That's
Yeah,
like
does.
obviously like I feel very, very privileged to live in the United States where like so many things just, we're the center of the universe too. And people just cater to
Well,
stuff to us.
look, I think it's fair because you are the biggest market. That's where the
Yeah.
most money is made. So I mean, it makes 100% sense.
Just imagine if
It's just,
China wasn't so restrictive and didn't have the kind of government that they had. Because
oh
my
yeah,
God,
mm,
funny
yeah,
that companies would make off of China.
yeah,
Um, but
absolutely.
Arrow's one of those things where it's like if it's the specific kind of movie that I'm looking for, I love Arrow releases, but like they have very
Yeah.
specific kind of movies that they release
Um,
for sure.
yeah, they do stuff that others don't, but they also do stuff that people want. I mean, they have a
Mm.
lot of Giallo films. They do a lot of
Well, yeah.
Ritchie and Bava and yeah.
So like if you're looking for like specific subgenres and genres of movies, like
Mm,
they have tons of them. And I really like
yeah.
the releases. And honestly, I love their covers and stuff like that. They're a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
fun.
They do good
Um,
work, yeah.
and then the thing, like I've bought oh, this is an interesting one that I want to buy more of, and it's literally just A24.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
Because wait a minute. I I bought my first one, which was the main reason I bought this because I was having trouble finding it elsewhere. The Souvenir Part 1 and 2. I bought
Oh,
the A24 release because it has
I've
both
heard
of
of
them.
that. It's supposed to be
And
pretty good.
I really love both of these films. And
Mm,
it's so interesting because these are like really interesting physical media. And it makes me want to like if it's an A24 release and they're doing this, I kind of
yeah.
just want to buy it from them. Like it's
You
definitely
should.
more expensive.
Yes, they
Um,
are expensive.
but like I
They
think I
don't.
paid like and comparatively, this is like 50, I think it was for the two films. And like for something
Mhm.
that I can't find anywhere, sure, I'll pay $25 a movie for. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like
I think they do ship to Australia, but they are really expensive. They're the only ones. Again, and sorry to offer just a bit of a gripe, but Bring Her Back, the recent Philippou Brothers movie, which is
Yeah,
Australian guys, no Australian 4K. We're only getting the Blu-ray. We have to get the A24 4K in Australia and have it imported. Kind of costs like near $60. It's a
that just
pisser, especially
feels
for an Australian film.
disrespectful, to be
Yeah,
honest. We're just
we
like,
didn't even get Babylon in Australia on 4K, which is starring Tar, another starring an Australian Oscar-nominated film, only got a DVD in Australia. Didn't even get a Blu-ray in Australia.
and that's a shame because like the cinematography in that is gorgeous. So like
It's
that would look
it's
amazing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the disrespect.
They still
Um,
sell 60% DVDs though. Of all physical media, 60 to 70% is still DVD, which blows my
well,
mind.
and to that point, like I own tons of DVDs because
Mm,
that's what I used to buy because it was
that's what you
cheaper.
started with, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I only upgrade now if basically for two reasons. I guess scratch that three reasons. If it's a boutique release enough that I really, really want to get, and
Mm.
like I'm even tempted to upgrade my No Country for Old Men because they released that in Criterion.
I
Like
know, me
I've
too. And
owned
I've
I've
resisted
owned
so well.
my No Country DVD that I have for like years. Like
If you've only got a DVD, if you jump from DVD to 4K, I would recommend that.
also like I'm planning eventually to do that. And
Mm.
like that's one of the reasons. Two, if there's a nice enough release of it that's like tantalizing enough, like if they do like a special like there were some Ghibli 4Ks that came steel books that came out. Like if it's like a really nice steel book and I'm like I'm tempted, I'll do it. And the only other the main reason why is if my DVDs fail. Because
Yeah.
like some of them are old enough and I played them enough that like they're kind of dying. Like case in point, I was in the middle of watching my Wedding Singer DVD the other day, and I only made it to two-thirds of the movie because then I it wouldn't play the last third of it.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, so then, I upgraded and I bought a Blu-ray. So like those situations, and those are practical, or like I'm watching it and it just looks like shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
my Gangs
Yeah.
of New York DVD looks terrible.
That'll get a
And
4K soon. How that
so
hasn't
I'm
got a
like,
4K is,
I'm
yeah,
like, I need to upgrade. My casino one did too. So I
lovely
did
4K.
upgrade that.
Yep.
Um, I think I realized a bunch of them when I was doing my Scorsese series for
Mm.
my YouTube channel because I'm just like, wait a minute, this looks terrible on my 4K TV and everything. And like some of them are like boxed, like in
Yes,
the
as in the
center, and
pixels.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah, yeah.
like, where it's just like it doesn't even fit the screen. And like I had to adjust it and stuff like that. I'm like, this
Yeah.
DVD is old enough where I think I need to upgrade this. Like I recently upgraded one of my oldest DVDs that I owned, which was my Untouchables
Oh,
DVD,
yeah.
which I loved. Like I had that thing for over 20 years. And then I finally got the 4K of it. And watching some De Palma in 4K, it's a nice
Mm.
experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Well, and when you're watching films that like the filmmaker cares that much about the filmmaking, this you
Yep.
feel it when you watch it
You,
on a nicer
yeah,
format.
you really do.
Um, now this is one that I always ponder. It's like, what are some movies that you really wish that you could get on physical media? Whether it's like they're hard to get or there just isn't an accessible version of it out or something like that.
On just films that don't have a physical media release.
Or like they
That's
could have a physical media release, and like this could even be where it's like it's not really accessible to you, especially in
yeah, okay.
Australia.
There's a lot of 80s comedies that I would like, ones that I remember growing up and watching with the family that I have some
Mhm.
nostalgia for because I've gone back and watched them recently through, nefarious means because I have not been able to get them anywhere.
Yeah.
So films like there was Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Ruthless People, those type of comedies from the
Hmm.
80s, like those ones that are completely forgotten about. I don't even know if they were ever put on anything other than DVD, if at all. Um, I don't think I have. I've got lots of films that I would like to see get a 4K release,
Hmm.
as in upgraded to something else. My cat's just walked in my room. He opens my door, so sorry about that. I kind of lost train of thought. Lots of films I want to see to come to come to 4K, but
Yeah.
nothing particular that I think of that doesn't have a release somewhere. Even look, here's a great one I'd like to see: Treasure of the Sierra Madre. That's actually
Mm.
recently on sale on Amazon with the Blu-ray a couple of times, and I'm thinking because that's a Warner Brothers movie, I'm thinking if they're doing that, that's going to get a 4K release. Because I've actually noticed a trend on Amazon, especially in Australia, if a Blu-ray has suddenly dropped a lot of price, a 4K announcement is coming within the next three to
Yeah.
6 months. So Treasure of the Sierra Madre is prime for that type of announcement, I think. Um, Sorcerer, I had asked that we actually got Sorcerer, which was great.
Hmm.
Because I raved about that for a long time. The Rock, I'd love to see get a 4K. How that would look stunning in 4K too, because that
Yeah.
cinematography in that film, the whole orange Michael Bay of it all,
Hmm.
it looks phenomenal. Fight Club still doesn't have a 4K. I'm just looking through my list here about films. What about Bob? I would love on physical anywhere.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because
Another one
I
I'd like.
have a DVD of that,
Oh, okay.
and like it's definitely like an older DVD of like What About Bob?
Yeah, I had to buy that on iTunes. It was like $5. So, but I
Hmm.
prefer to have the physical than the digital.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the no. Snack. Actually, here's one that has not had a physical release. That I really liked is Snack Shack from a couple of
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago or last year. Does not have a physical release. And otherwise, I'd be talking about streaming movies like maybe Tick Tick Boom would be great to have a. Don't Look up.
God, I
Hmm.
want Tick
Tick Tick
Tick
Boom is
Boom.
prime for Criterion, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like like what are you doing? And
hmm.
every time I have a playlist on my Spotify called Why Are They Singing? And it's just a bunch of songs from like musicals and stuff like that. Um like if you're gonna make a playlist, why not make a fun title? And every time I listen to anything from Tick Tick Boom, I'm just like, why doesn't
Hmm.
this have a physical release? And why the hell did Andrew Garfield not win Best Actor for this? And
I know.
then we got Will Smith
He's amazing.
winning
He's
Best
amazing.
Actor after he slapped Chris Rock. Um
That's yeah, that's some evil doing there. I'm just gonna shut my door so can I see I can still hear you though. Your ass.
I know there is one particular movie that I automatically thought of specifically because of this question, and it's Angel Egg. And this is
Angel Egg.
a beloved anime, but it's really hard to find. And like you could probably buy the physical media used for like 70 plus dollars. And I am simply
Wow.
not spending 70 plus dollars for a used DVD from somebody. But like
That's crazy,
that
isn't it?
kind of thing where it's just like that Vampire Hunter D, Ninja Scroll, like Akira and Ghost in the Shell are like
Mm,
they're all like the main pillars of anime films that really set the stage in the late 80s and early 90s, but
hmm.
only some of them have really blown up enough to have like really nice physical media releases. Like obviously you can find Akira and Ghost in the Shell, but those other ones are harder. And Angel Egg is in like the letterbox top 100 animated films of all time, but you can't
Is it?
find it on physical media. And it's a really cool like genre bending film, and I would love for that to get a physical media re-release at some point.
Yeah. I'm looking
And
it up now on eBay. It's 250 to $340 in Australia for a DVD.
it's like in an age where anime is cool now, where like you don't even get made fun of for liking anime. It's actually a cool thing to like anime in 2025.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
why don't
Yeah.
you have a physical release for this movie? So like that's one I would love to see get a physical release. I
Oh, I
want a
like
new
that.
release of Cannibal the Musical, and I don't know if there was a better time, but like, here's the thing: South Park is still amazing, and this is the college film of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, where they made a musical about a cannibal pioneer story from Colorado, and it's hilarious.
It's so much up there, Rowley. I have heard
Yeah.
of it actually.
And like, I don't think they've had a new release of it on physical media in a long time. There's a bunch of Scorsese films that like when I did
Mm,
my series that like they haven't had a new physical media release in a long time. And like
Alice Doesn't
there's
Live
some
Here
of
would be good.
uh
Alice Doesn't Live Here would be good.
yes. That's one of the best ones. Even
Mm,
like a Boxcar Bertha, which is arguably one of his worst films, or like New York, New York, like
yeah.
they're hard to
Oh,
find.
New York's getting a release in Australia, I'm pretty sure, on
So
imprint.
see, like that might be one that is getting something soon. But like I know Bringing Out the Dead was one of the big ones when I did my
Yes.
series a few years ago.
Yep.
And like, did they get? I feel like
That's getting a 4K. That is getting a
yes.
4K.
So like though like I'm happy that some of them are finally getting there, but like a few years ago, a lot of those Scorsese films, like I this was another one that I wound up I want to get a upgrade is when they released The Last Waltz on Criterion, and I'm just like, yes. Like I love my DVD of this concert film, but like I want an upgraded 4K Criterion of the band's concert film because it's one of the best concert films ever made.
Yeah,
And
okay. I've never
from
never
Martin
heard of that.
Scorsese. But like those are just
Nice.
some of them. And like I'll look up some of these like older films that I've been watching recently, and it would be nice to like have some focus on getting like earlier films some upgrades. And like, Adam's on my Cinematic Wasteland show as one of my co-hosts, and like we watch we're at the point where like we're still in the 20s and the 30s, so like we're perusing a
Mm.
lot of like old films. And there's a lot of them that I would love to see get some physical media releases. And like I have a laundry list. Like if Criterion ever wanted my opinion, I have a laundry list of movies where I'm just like, here's some movies that you release in Criterion. But those are just at least a few of them that and Angel Egg is going to be my Moby Dick until
Yeah.
they finally like give that a new release because
I,
like it was such a cool film when I did get to watch it. And like I'm hopeful about Vampire Hunter D because they just re-released that in theaters recently, and I'm like that tells me they have some plans for this movie. And like I would love Ninja Scroll to get a new release too because like Ninja Scroll, like I finally watched it and like these are all anime that I had to find
yeah.
ways of watching.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, yeah.
to,
We've all
to my
been there.
point, if it's 2025 and you literally give me no other option to try to find these
Mm.
movies, that's not my
Yeah.
problem. Like
I
I
see.
want to see
Yeah.
these films.
I'm like you. I don't like the idea of having to pirate, but I will pirate because if I ever got busted, I'd be like, look at how much money I spend on film, mate. Like I needed to watch this because I'm recording a show with a mate.
Well, yeah. Well, like if I spend more than 10, 15 minutes on the internet trying to find where I could watch this movie,
Mm, mm.
I automatically turn into Tim Curry from Muppets Treasure Island, and I'm like, it's a pirate life for me. I'm a professional pirate. It's like immediately, because like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
to my point earlier, it's 2025. Why are we still doing this? Anyway, now,
yeah.
Adam, if you could, my last little prompt here, and like, if there's anything else that we wanted to talk about afterwards, we can, but like, what would be like if you had your ideal boutique physical like dream physical media label, What
Hmm.
would that look like? Like, what kinds of things would it have? What kinds of films would it include? Like, what would that look like to you?
Um, do you know what? It's gonna be a bit of a cop-out answer. I
It's just
think my
Kino
label.
Lorber. Um,
Yes, exactly. It would
fair.
be Kino because they are releasing. Look, I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in the
Yes.
90s. I wasn't born in the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. I spent my teen years through the 90s. So that was my most formative years. Kino are releasing a lot of films that I love
Hmm.
and have a lot of nostalgia for in those years. Like I said, I just kind of like the movie. That's what they give you. They give you the
Yeah.
movie that has a great transfer. They have a lot of great extras, like as in additional features, not extras as in arty
Yeah.
additions. Not bullshit that I'll just call it bullshit packaging.
I know you're
Um,
feeling on those art cards and how they just balloon
I'm
prices, which
I'm
honestly, it's
yeah
ridiculous. So,
I'm I'm very much on record of especially my own show about that. And there is an Australian label who I think don't like me for it. I do think they listen, or they have people on the inside who've listened to me rant about it because when they release something and I'll share a post of theirs advertising their media, they will share everyone around me as to their own page, but they don't share my share, if that makes sense. So I know they don't like me, but I kind of find it a bit funny. I'm not going to stop me sharing their stuff if I don't share
yeah.
everything they do. I'm not a lackey. I'm not a shill for anyone. So, which I love. I have a few people that I follow and follow me who are absolute shills, and it's like good for
Hmm.
you, man. Good for you, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, Kino would be my label, just like that. But obviously some different films, because as my film stuff is growing, I actually am a bit of a fan. We haven't didn't mention before, Shout and Scream Factory. They
Yep.
also do similar stuff, to like obviously Scream is the horror side of it. Shout Select especially, like they're doing this recent series on blaxploitation films, which is amazing, amazing.
Hmm.
Like the transfers as well, like they're incredible, amazing films. Just some of the most fun I've had watching movies in a long, long time. Um, but I would probably go, sorry, I would probably go for more what films are now maybe considered cultish, like those three-star comedy films. A lot of the John Candy, Chevy Chase type of
Yeah.
SNL alum type of films. That's what I'd like to see more of, and that's what my label would be.
Honestly, mine would be pretty similar to Kino Lorber too, because
Mm.
one, something that's more affordable.
Yeah,
Like, I will
yeah,
spend 20, $25 on a Criterion set, or like, I have some of their box sets. Like, I have the Cassavetes, I have the Agnes Varda, I have the Bruce Lee, and yes, I will be getting that Godzilla Toho era one
yeah,
eventually. And like those kinds of things, like I'll spend more money, but like I just want something more reasonably priced because I'm cheap. And people tell me to stop saying that I'm cheap. I'm frugal. I'm like, I'm cheap. It's fine. I don't mind
yeah,
saying that I am, but like I would prefer to have some more reasonable options. And I like if it has like put in effort to make a nice cover is one thing too. And because like that's one thing I do appreciate about Criterion. It's actually really disappointing when a Criterion doesn't have an interesting cover. And it's just like,
yeah. There's
what
a
are you
few of
doing?
them.
And
Yeah.
because like just rewatched House.
Oh, the TV show
Well,
or
no,
the
the Japanese horror film House
yes, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for years. Because like I didn't watch that movie until like probably 3 years ago, but for
Mm.
years I could tell you that cover,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that crazy
yeah.
orange cat looking thing
Yep,
is iconic and it burns in your brain. That
yep.
kind of thing. What I would love is if every single release on there had any kind of like if there's formal documentaries about the film, add it. And if to have earlier short films, stuff like that from that filmmaker and automatically add them to every physical media release.
Mm,
because I'm going through like watching a lot of short films and stuff like that too. And there's a lot of short films from filmmakers that are just you can't find them. One of my favorite things about following my criterion for that, the Christopher Nolan one, is that they have
mm.
one of his short films on it.
Yes.
It's about some kind
There's
of
a
like bug.
no, there's a
Um,
BF. Oh, okay. There's a BFI release. Like the UK must have had the rights, and I have that, but I haven't actually watched it yet. So,
yeah.
but I do think the short's on there as well.
So like those kinds of things, like I want them to be on there. I think that
Mm,
should be like a sense if they have like older, hard to find short films or even feature films that are hard to find that like you're not going to have a whole physical media release for, but like those kinds of things, I want to see that. I think that would be great. And yeah, I just want to see it expand film history because like I want to find more like
mm.
nice upgraded like I I've been perusing for Georges Méliès collections and stuff like that because like I think that
Yep.
would be cool to have. So then I don't
Mm,
have to just sit through YouTube and try to sift through it and try to find all of them. And
mm.
like there's actually a couple on HBO Max, which is pretty cool. They have some
Is
of
there?
his films on there. And
Okay.
like, I would love to see what 1911's Dante Inferno get a physical media release, which that thing is one of the coolest looking movies ever. And I cannot believe they made all these like special effects work in 1911.
Yeah, I'll have to
And
check that out.
like, you could probably find that on YouTube at this point, but like,
Yeah.
those kinds of things, I would love to see that because,
I'd love
I
to see
spent a
the
lot of time watching like early
one of the
cinemas.
one of the better old films that'd be great to see was when we saw the Phantom Carriage. That'd be great with a 4K upgrade. That'd be amazing.
I
Does it
don't
have
think
one?
it's on 4K, but there is a criterion of that.
Is there?
Yeah,
Okay.
of
That's
that
great.
one.
Okay.
And like, I just want the amount of effort that was put into this
Yeah, the red shoes. Yeah.
to be put into everything because, like,
So I own a
obviously
Blu-ray of
Scorsese had a
that.
lot to do with that. Um,
Yes. I own a Blu-ray of that, and that's been on sale in this Prime Day sale. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'll get the 4K. I'm happy with the blue, but yeah, that would be
this is a
immaculate.
4K criterion,
Yeah, yeah.
and just like, I can't wait to get Peeping Tom on
Ooh, Peeping
4K
Tom's
because
great.
I
Have
watched
you
that for
seen
the
the
first
film?
time
Ooh,
in the last year. I'm just like, holy shit. Like
very good.
I even just watched one of Michael Powell's first like early films from 1935. It's called The
Yeah,
Love Test. Like you can see there was like some dynamic filmmaking going on. This movie's like 66 minutes. It's it has a plot that you would think you'd find in a 90s rom-com that would be like, wow, this would get canceled today. Because like basically the whole plot is a bunch of guys in a chemistry department want to get their new female boss basically laid and get a boyfriend so that she'll neglect her duties so then like she'll get fired or whatever. So
that's
like
funny.
that's like not a great plot for a movie. And they even had a BFI warning at the beginning because like I watched it on YouTube and they must have got it from like a BFI TV release. And it was just
Yeah,
like,
okay.
this has a very sexist, inappropriate plot to this movie. Like, enjoy. It's like,
That's
so it had
great.
one of those kind of warnings, which fine with people putting warnings in front of movies. Just don't edit it. Don't
I've
mess with it.
I've actually just sent you a couple of links.
Okay.
One to New York, New York, and one to a new box set that's coming out called The Cinema of Powell and Pressburger from Imprint. So you'll be able to import them to America with free postage because it's going to cost you more than
Uh,
$150.
oh my. Um, but I guess Adam, are there any other points that you wanted to throw out about physical media?
Um, look, I could go for a long time.
I know.
Or if you want to hear me say more about it, I do have a podcast called Curbside Collections
Shameless
about physical
plugs.
media. Shameless plug. Um, I have a
No,
I look
seriously, listen to Adam's podcast. I listen to it every time there's a new episode. It makes me want
every
to
fortnight.
spend an insane amount of money. But like
Well,
it's cool getting to hear about people's perspective on physical media and their collections, but
mm,
also getting to hear what's coming out. And that's something I appreciate.
yes. My sorry to kind of drag this on, but my most recent episode is actually with an American fellow who's
Mm.
just moved his catalog of 20 odd thousand titles from Vermont to Portland, Oregon. So I'm actually interviewing him tomorrow as my first ever sequel, and we'll be talking
Okay.
about his road trip across the states with a U-Haul full of physical media.
Um, I did listen to that episode, and he has some interesting takes on some movies. Uh,
Yeah, he does. He does.
yeah,
And like he talked about a lot of Disney stuff that I've just got no idea about. But again, it's nostalgic for him, a lot of that love. And I
yeah,
totally get it. Like it's nostalgia. There's a lot of films that I look, you could show Labyrinth to a modern audience and they'd be like, what the fuck is this? I've seen Labyrinth
it's
50,
fun.
60 times.
That's
It's
what it
amazing.
is.
And I still love Labyrinth as a nearly 50-year-old man. And I will always love it because I loved it and watched it every night for a fortnight as a kid. Um,
All one thing I would like to add that's not necessarily physical media related, but I think Disney's dropping the ball on the Muppets because the Muppets is one of the greatest properties in the history of cinema. And
yeah,
why the hell aren't you doing more with the Muppets?
they've
Um,
done so much on Disney Plus with Muppets though, but it's all unwatchable. It's all really hard to watch. None of it's been good. Have you checked out any over there?
I really like the um Electric Mayhem show.
Oh,
I
that's
enjoyed
that's
that
the
a
one I
lot.
haven't watched. I haven't watched it because all
Okay.
the other stuff I'm like, and I have heard that's pretty good, but I haven't watched it because I was like, I kind of stopped watching TV for the most part. But it's also like all their other stuff I haven't enjoyed, so
It's
I
also
haven't
really
gone back
weird
to
that
it.
they have a Fraggle Rock show on Apple
Hmm.
when
I
Disney
wish I had watched that
owns
too.
when Disney owns like
I st
Henson. So
I
like
was obsessed by Fraggle Rock. Yeah, that is strange. Again, licensing is a weird thing with physical media
yep,
and well, media. It's a
media for
very
sure.
weird thing. I mean, the whole fact that Blu-rays and DVDs are region locked. Like, why? CDs and vinyl aren't region locked. Why
That's so
a movie?
dumb.
It's
So
weird.
ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah. And that's one of the that's also one of the reasons why I really hope that physical media all shifts to 4K so all that nonsense
Yeah.
can stop.
Well, from what I've been told and what I understand about the sales of physical media is that most people who jump from DVD who collect DVD have skipped Blu-ray because they kept on through DVD through the Blu-ray
Yeah.
era, and they've gone straight from DVD to 4K. 4K are basically on a level selling or even sell more than Blu-ray. And my guy who's been working in the business for 30 years is says that the first format to die will be Blu-ray. There'll be DVDs and 4K. That'll be it. There won't be Blu-ray, he reckons, because that's the
That's
way the sales
interesting.
are going. Mm, it is.
Well, at this point, like if you could get 4K at a reasonable price, like why would you get a Blu-ray?
Well, exactly. And do you know what? In Australia, I'm not sure what it's like in America, but the Roadshow release Warner stuff Warner titles in Australia. So they will release the standard for a new movie. A standard 4K will be 36.98. The
Mm.
Steelbook is $3 more. And so, but other labels will do the 4K um, for $40, but the Steelbook will be 55 because it has, or 65 because it has the Blu-ray as well. That's another thing they've stopped doing with physical media is including the Blu-ray with the 4K, and a lot of people are actually don't like that.
What was interesting was my brother and I used to always get all Disney movies, and he would take the Blu-ray and I would just take the DVD because like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they sold both of them and stuff
yeah,
like that. And I kind of regret that I had up because like I didn't have the actual packaging and stuff like that
yeah,
either. So like I've had
yeah.
to upgrade a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of early Marvel like MCU movies.
Ah,
I had
right,
to
okay.
buy recently so that I would actually have the
Yeah,
packaging and stuff like that. And this older Disney classics and stuff like that too I had to do with.
Mm.
But,
They're tough to come by now.
well, and that's the thing too, because Disney's so freaking expensive even when they do have it, because they can.
Well,
They know
what
they can.
Disney do stuff that other markets don't do. Where they used when they were in Australia, they used to release stuff, but then pull it back off the shelves to create a scarcity, so people would want it
The
more.
vault,
And yeah. They would just call their physical media back and stock it in the shelves and wait to re-release it later.
it was a whole entire, like, they branded it. They branded
Mm.
for scarcity as the Disney
Yes.
Vault. Like, Disney's on a different level in terms of like business acumen, and they have been for over 100 years. It's or about close to like 90 years. Like, it's Disney. It's Disney.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They know how to make money. They know how to get money out of us.
Mm.
But
Yeah, they do.
I guess at this point, then, Adam, I appreciate you coming on, chatting physical media.
Pleasure.
And yes, please go check out Adam's show on the SPDM Crew. Because if you want to learn about physical media and want to be in the know, it's a great podcast to do it. So,
Thanks,
but
buddy.
Adam, thank you so much for coming on.
Mate, a pleasure. I'll talk my ears off. Oh, you talk your ears off all day. So yeah, no, yeah,
And thank
pleasure.
all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.